are large swaths of this country that followed him intimately, that knew all of his positions, particularly young men in this country. And then there are large chunks of the country that didn't know him at all and didn't follow him on social media or on his radio shows. So here's a little history about him. He had a meteoric rise starting basically when he was a teenager. That's when he harnessed the digital age of podcasts and social media. He then launched this radio show on WABC, one of the hugest stations in the country. And he became one of the most influential conservative voices, not just of his generation. I mean, people in the generation above him followed him as well. At WABC, Charlie worked for the media owner, John Catsimatidis, who is going to join us now to talk about Charlie Kirk and about his impact. John, thank you so much for being here with us. I know that you know him so well. You've been in podcasting, you've been in politics for decades. Explain to people who don't necessarily know Charlie Kirk what made him so influential.
Well, he started at the age of 18, and he was well liked, and he went out of his way to be well liked. In other words, no matter what your politics are, no matter who you were, he embraced you, he hugged you, and if you had different politics, he would still have the courage to sit down and discuss things with you. So he was a real person, and in another life, he could have been a preacher. Uh, but we enjoyed having him on WABC for 2 years, and he's going to be missed. My son, John Jr., was very, very close to him. He had been close for over 10 years, since they were like 21 years old. My son at that time was the New York State GOP chairman. And the fact he will definitely be missed. President Trump is missing him. And President Trump has given him the Medal of Freedom that he doesn't do very often. And I don't know what else I could say.
John,
He was an icon in the community.
I'm wondering who picks up this mantle. He's in death now, almost larger than life, but who's waiting in the wings, a young person with his charisma? Do you see someone out there who can carry the torch for, young conservatives?
It'd have to be, the word conservative. Don't forget where I come from. I was a Bill Clinton Democrat at one time. And I still love the guy. I still think he's one of the best Democratic presidents we ever had. But Donald Trump, I've known for 45 years or 50 years. And so you can consider me a middle of the road person. And I engage with Democrats. I engage with Republicans. I have no problem engaging with both sides. So you don't need necessarily a conservative. You need somebody that has special skills to bring both sides together. Because I think that is the future of America. I think common sense America is what we all want. I grew up in the days of Father Knows Best, Ozzie and Harriet, and Three's a Family, and I think you need somebody that's going to bring together the common sense Democrats, the common sense independents, and the common sense Republicans. Extremism in either side, extremism on the left, extremism on the right, that's not me. But I think that
But John, I hear John.
Charlie
Hold on
Kirk
a
was
second.
like that.
I love your message. I love your message. That's what we're trying to do on Connecting America. I think people are hungry for that, to bring both sides together in civil discourse. But was Charlie Kirk doing that? Because, I mean, he did say lots of polarizing things. He did say lots of provocative and extreme things. And I think that, from what I've learned about him, he liked that. He liked pushing people's buttons, and he wasn't afraid to say sometimes, offensive things. So that wasn't really his. Would you say that's his legacy, or is it time to
No,
move in
not
that
necessarily,
direction?
but he was willing to sit down with both sides, which is important.
Yeah.
Anytime, don't forget, it all started with Bill Clinton and Newt Gingrich. They sat down. It started with Ronald Reagan and Tip O'Neill. They
Yeah.
sat down. No matter how much they argued, at the end of the day, they were both Americans and did what's best for America. And right now, we have the Socialist Party, the socialists trying to take over the Democratic Party, which is wrong. I believe that common sense Democrats have to stop that because the socialists have, how do I say it the nicest way I can? They have lost their mind.
But John, President Trump spoke specifically about how important a role Charlie Kirk played in getting him elected again as president of the United States. You even saw on his last day how Charlie Kirk drew so many people to come see him. What lessons can today's leaders learn from Charlie's success in mobilizing a movement?
I believe he took the young people in the colleges of New York or the United States. I think as many as 3,000 colleges or universities or high schools, et cetera, and mobilized 250,000 kids. And the fact is, our otherwise, what happened to our kids? Our kids have been um, given the wrong impressions. When I went to the university in my age, I went to college. I went to college to listen to both sides. Right now, you go to Harvard, you go to other schools, you don't listen to both sides. You only listen to one side. The university is for listening to both sides. And foreign money has infiltrated our universities. The most philanthropic people in the world are the Jewish American people. They go to Harvard and they build a building and they put their name on it, Goldberg's building, etc. The foreign countries go to Harvard and say, we're going to give you all this money, but we don't want you to hire this professor, this professor, this professor. That indoctrinates our kids.
John, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
So I know that Jim was asking who can carry the mantle, who can carry the torch of Charlie Kirk. And I don't know if you know the answer to that, but do you see anyone out there, man, woman, young, old, politician, grassroots activist, who is doing what you say we all should move towards, which is sitting down with both sides, with being reasonable? I mean, who do you listen to on that front?
I have created common sense. When I hired Bill O'Reilly 5 years ago when I bought WABC, and everybody on Bill O'Reilly was on the outs, and the fact is that my people at WABC said, everybody, we're going to lose all our advertisers if you hire Bill O'Reilly. I said, I'm going to hire him, and Bill O'Reilly came to me and said to me, what should I name the show? I said, how about Common Sense with Bill O'Reilly? And it was sold. But we've been spreading the words common sense, and all of a sudden, common sense, those words are being said at the White House, are being said in Congress, all over the place. We need more common sense Americans to speak out and have the courage to speak out. And I talked to my son, who was very close to Turning Point. He was very close to Charlie Kirk. And when my son said that probably his number two guy, and I forget his name, is going to take over. But Turning Point is a great organization. They should go through a selection process just to be fair to everything.
All right, John Catsimatidis, we thank you for being here on Connecting America, and appreciate the sentiment that we need to be able to talk to one another, because that's, as you said, Allison, what we're all about here at Connecting America. And whoever picks up the mantle, for Turning Point, Charlie Kirk had a charisma about him, and even when he was combative with the other side, it was sort of like, bring it on, and I'm happy to debate this with you. And as he said, also had a warmth to him that you felt in person. I've never met him, so I can't speak to that. But it has to be somebody with sort of that magic, element to that person that, can engage with the other side and, bring that point of view, but with some sort of charismatic personality that he
Yeah,
had.
I don't remember meeting Charlie in person, though. Since I saw him on Fox and Friends on 2012, it's possible that I interviewed him and just thought that he was an up and coming student and didn't know that he would become this, major political figure in the country. But I do take the point that he was likable, and you can see that on social media. If you, regardless of whether or not you agree with his positions, and he did have some extreme positions, he had a warmth and a likability on social media that people might want to check out, because it is that special sauce that you're talking about, Jim, that allows somebody to be a leader.
Right, and whoever comes along after him, charisma or not, because Charlie Kirk in many ways is going to be hard to replace, there's got to be some sort of value to turning the tone of the rhetoric down. We see what's happened in terms of political violence over the last couple of years, the last decade. There's got to be a better way.